Good morning, students. Last class we discussed about stomach and different parts of digestive system. We discussed about esophagus or food pipe, discussed about tongue. Today we are starting with the most important part of digestive system, which is small intestine. Small intestine is the most important digestive part because maximum digestion happens in the small intestine. We'll find out how and why the small intestine plays an important role in digestion. Small intestine, like it has been given, it's highly coiled, means it's bent, it's not straight, it's highly coiled and it's very long. In some animals, though, it will be very, very long. So if you take some animals, that will be long. So small intestine of any animal generally will be long compared to large intestine. So approximately our small intestine is 7.5 meters long. Is 7.5 meters long, very very important, and it receives secretions from two glands, liver and pancreas, and intestinal wall also secretes some juices for digestion. So very very important, like mouth receives secretions from saliva, salivary gland. Small intestine receives secretions from liver and pancreas. Now one by one we will take and find out how liver and pancreas ಹೆಂಗೆ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಡೈಜೆಷನ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಸೊ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ liver. Liver is the largest gland in the human body, which is liver is the biggest gland and very important gland also. It is reddish brown and situated in the upper part of abdomen on the right side. Liver is reddish brown and is situated in the upper part of the abdomen on the right side. Liver, so you would have, most of them would have seen liver at least in videos or photographs. You did clearly know that somewhat looks like reddish brown chocolate. Sir, no children, so that much important is liver. And liver secretes a secretion called as bile juice. Don't forget this one, it's very important. Liver secretes a secretion called as bile juice. Bile juice. Liver secretes a secretion called as bile juice. This bile juice is stored in a sac called gallbladder. The bile juice stored in a sac called as gallbladder. Very important. Gallbladder stores the bile juice. This bile juice is a secretion which plays an important role in digestion. How does bile juice play an important role in digestion? The bile plays an important role in digesting fats. So never forget children, the bile juice produced by the liver plays an important role in digestion of fats, particularly fats only. The bile juice acts on fats, digests fats. It is produced by liver. It is produced by liver, very important. It is produced by liver. Okay. So this much is about liver. Liver digests the fats using bile juice. Next we will go for the second important gland, pancreas. Pancreas is a large and cream colored gland just below the stomach. Pancreas is located just below the stomach. You can check out the diagram. In that you can see pancreas. Pancreas is present just below the stomach. Pancreatic juice is secreted by pancreas. Like liver secretes bile juice, pancreas secretes pancreatic juice. So this pancreatic juice is very very important, students. Very very important. Why? Because the pancreatic juice acts on carbohydrates, fats and proteins and converts them into simpler form. It can do this much. Pancreatic juices are very important, students. So pancreatic juices act on carbohydrates, fats and proteins and changes them into simpler forms. So it's very important. Liver digests the fats, but pancreatic juices digest fats, proteins and carbohydrates. Fats, proteins and carbohydrates. The partly digested food now reaches the lower part of the small intestine, where the intestinal juice completes the digestion of all components of food. So this food which is acted upon by pancreatic juice moves to the lower part of the intestine. There the juices secreted by the intestine, intestinal juice complete the digestion. So digestion gets completed in the small intestine. So how does the pancreatic juice break down carbohydrates, fats and proteins? The pancreatic juices break carbohydrates into glucose, fats into fatty acids and glycerol, proteins into amino acids. Very important, students should remember. The carbohydrates break the pancreatic juices break carbohydrate into sugars such as glucose, fats into fatty acid and glycerol, proteins into amino acids. Once again I am repeating for you. The pancreatic juices along with the intestinal juices break carbohydrates into glucose, fats into fatty acids and glycerol, and proteins into amino acids. It breaks proteins into amino acid. Very important. This is also, once again I'll brief. The small intestine is long and coiled and very important part of the digestive system. It receives digestive juices or secretions from liver and pancreas. Liver produces bile juice which will digest the fats, and pancreas produces pancreatic juice which converts carbohydrates into glucose, proteins into amino acids and fats into fatty acid and glycerol. Fats into, very important is this fatty acids. Very important is this fatty acids. Okay, we'll move further. Now we'll move further. We'll go what happens after the digestion. The digested food passes into the blood vessels. The digested food passes into the blood vessels which are present in the wall of the intestine. This process is called as absorption. The digested food passes into the blood vessels in the wall of intestine. This is called as absorption. So next is absorption. Once the digestion is over, next is absorption. So what is absorption? The digested food, the movement of digested food into the blood vessels which are present in the wall of the intestine. Then how do the small intestines absorb? In the small intestine, in the inner wall of small intestine, there are numerous finger-like projections called villi. Now these villi increase the surface area for absorption and help in absorption of digested food. Each villus contains network of thin and small blood vessels close to its surface. The surface of the villi absorbs digested food materials. The absorbed substances move to different parts and are utilized to make proteins and other important substances. This is called as assimilation. So this part we are learning what is absorption and what is assimilation. Like I told children, the movement of digestive food into the blood vessels in the inner wall of the small intestine is called as absorption. Next, the utilization of absorbed food to prepare proteins and complex substances is called assimilation. Now how does absorption take place? The inner walls of small intestine have numerous finger-like outgrowths called as villi. This villi will be having a network of blood vessels which helps in absorption of digested food. This villi has network of blood vessels, thin and small blood vessels on its surface which helps in absorption. Very important, which helps in absorption. Got it, children? So in this class we studied about after digestion absorption, after absorption assimilation. Villi are hair-like or finger-like structures on the walls of intestine which helps in absorption because they have network of blood vessels. They have network of blood vessels. Got it, children? They have a network of blood vessels. Next, we'll go to the next part, which is large intestine. So, large intestine, children, is not, large intestine is wider. Intestine is wider and shorter than small intestine. It is only 1.5 meters long. So, what does large intestine do? Large intestine absorbs water and some salts from the undigested food material. Okay, so like I told, the undigested food, the undigested one, after the digestion is over in small intestine, the undigested food comes in the large intestine. Large intestine absorbs water and some important salts from the undigested food. So the undigested food, which has got itself absorbed from, it has lost its water and important salts, pass into the rectum and remains there as semi-solid feces, and the fecal matter is removed through anus time to time. This is called egestion. So large intestine, like I told children, once the complete digestion happens in the small intestine, the undigested food goes to the large intestine. Large intestine is large, not it is a little bit wider but small, 1.5 meter long. It absorbs, the large intestine absorbs water and some important salts, and the undigested food next to as a semi-solid feces moves into the rectum and it is removed through anus. This process is called egestion. The last process where the waste materials are removed from our body is called egestion. The last process where waste materials are removed from our body is called as egestion. Is called as egestion. You got it, very important. Large intestine absorbs water. Once again I am telling, large intestine absorbs water. Large intestine absorbs water and some important salts. Anus removes the waste materials and rectum stores the semi-solid feces or waste materials. How does grass, we can't digest grass. Okay, one important question. But some grass eating animals like a cow, deer and all, they can digest grass. How can they digest grass? It's very important question, no children? How can some grass eating animals easily digest grass? Why can't we digest grass? We are going to learn about in the next part. Going to learn about that in the next part. Okay. So what happens is the grass once it is eaten by grass eating animals, it goes into a part of the stomach called as rumen and it gets partially digested and is called as cud. So it is important to maintain to learn the difference between digestion in human beings and digestion in grass eating animals. What difference is there? The grass eating animals immediately will swallow the grass and it will be stored in a part of the stomach called rumen. Rumen, there it gets partially digested, it is called as cud. After partial digestion, once again this grass, partially digested grass, is brought to the mouth in small lumps and animal chews. This process is called rumination and the animal is called as ruminants. Very, very important. So once again the difference in digestion in grass eating animals. The grass is immediately swallowed, it goes to a place called rumen. Rumen it gets partially digested and again the partially digested grass is brought back to the mouth in lumps. There again it is chewed, which is called as cud. Once it is chewed, it gets completely digested. This process is called rumination. And the animals are called as ruminants. Okay, why we can't digest grass? Very important question, no children? Why we can't digest grass? Number one, the grass is having a chemical called cellulose, which is a complex carbohydrate. Okay, but in ruminant animals, which we studied, the ruminant animals like cattle, deer, then in the rumen there will be bacteria which helps in the digestion of cellulose, but in human beings those bacteria are absent. That's why we cannot digest the grass. But in some animals like horses and rabbit, they have a large sac-like structure, bag-like structure called cecum between esophagus and small intestine. The cellulose is digested there. So the process of rumination and ruminant animals
Ruminants are nothing but animals which are rumen. What is rumen? Rumen is a part in stomach. Rumen is a part in stomach. Rumen is a part in stomach. How does digestion take place in ruminant animals like deer, cow, goat, deer and all? So it's very important. They immediately swallow the grass. It will go to the rumen, a part in the stomach. There it gets partially digested. Again it is brought back to the mouth. It is chewed. This is called chewing the cud. And after chewing, again it goes back and it is completely digested. Grass has a chemical called cellulose, which should be digested by a special bacteria. That bacteria is absent in human beings. That's why we cannot digest grass. That's why we cannot digest cellulose. It's all in the bacteria. Some animals like horses and rabbit have a structure called cecum, bag like structure called cecum, between esophagus and small intestine, like a stomach only. Here cellulose is digested. Cecum and rumen, where cellulose gets digested. Cecum and rumen, where the cellulose gets digested. Cecum and rumen, where the cellulose gets digested. Okay, now we'll go for in microscopic organisms. We'll go for microscopic organism. Microscopic amoeba is a microscopic single-celled organism normally found in dirty water. So I am concentrating the diagram of amoeba here. This is amoeba. This is amoeba. It is a microscopic single-celled organism. Microscopic single-celled organism which has cell membrane and a dense nucleus and many bubble-like structures. You can see, children, bubble-like structure. Those are vacuoles where the food is stored. Those are called as vacuoles. Now how does amoeba move? Amoeba keeps on changing its shape. Keeps on changing its shape and forms a false leg called pseudopodia. With the help of that pseudopodia, they move and capture the food. Now you can see in the diagram, amoeba using pseudopodia or its false leg is coming around a food. So once it comes around the food is swallowed and stored in the vacuole. So how does amoeba move? Amoeba keeps on changing its shape and size, and once it sees a microscopic organism, the pseudopodia will come around the organism and swallows or ingests it, and the ingested food is stored in a vacuole. You can see many vacuoles with organisms here. Okay, so the digestive juices digest the food inside the vacuole. The digestive juices are digested inside the vacuole itself and break down to simple substance. The digested food is absorbed. And the undigested food is also removed through vacuole. So in the vacuole the food gets digested and the digested food is absorbed by the body, and using vacuole only they will remove the undigested or waste materials. So digestion in amoeba is very important. Amoeba is a microscopic organism with vacuoles. You can see this round, these are called vacuoles, children. So it will using pseudopodia, this false leg, this different shapes are called pseudopodia. That is the leg. They keep on changing their shape and moving. They don't have a particular shape. Using the changing shape, they keep on moving. Okay, so once they see a microscopic organism, they come around that microscopic organism and cover it and engulf into food vacuole, and using digestive juices inside the food vacuole, inside the food vacuole, the food is digested and absorbed. The waste material is expelled out through vacuole itself. The waste material is expelled through vacuole itself. The waste material is expelled through vacuole itself. The waste material is expelled through vacuole itself. The waste materials are expelled through vacuole itself. Okay.
So this is once again I'll come from first. Digestion in rumination, ruminants. Ruminants have a special structure called rumen. In that bacteria will be there. Using that bacteria they will digest cellulose in the grass. Amoeba will do everything with the help of food vacuoles. Okay, but we have small intestine where complete digestion food takes place, and liver and pancreas play an important role. Thank you, children.